This is a training session with a 7-month-old dog who's actually really big. At this time in her life, she was around 100 pounds. Her father was a Borbal Mastiff, and her mom was a Catahoula Leopard dog. And she kind of is an interesting mix of both of these dogs. Her owner adopted her, and she was already pretty big. And unfortunately, the dog didn't have hardly any socialization skills whatsoever. And in the place of having any kind of socialization skills, she actually had a lot of nervous anxiety about things. She wasn't used to being around people. She wasn't used to being around sounds or anything unpredictable. And she certainly wasn't used to being walked on a leash. The few times that her owners tried to walk her on the leash, it was pretty tough for them. The dog was pulling and cutting in and out of their paths and kind of tripping them up and weaving around, circling around back, and just really being not very cooperative. But it wasn't due to a desire to be misbehaving. It was just due to a completely state of mind of being completely overwhelmed. So you can see here we're climbing over this wall, and I'm going to talk about exactly why we're doing that. I just want to give a little background as to what's going on with the dog. So she's 7 months old, and she's hasn't really had an opportunity to go on really any walks, because every time her owner would walk her, it was just too much. So she brought me in to kind of get her familiar with the leash, with a very specific goal in mind. And a lot of times my clients will hire me just to kind of help out with some general stuff, and sometimes we'll have a very specific goal, and this is one of those cases. My work with this dog wasn't going to be complete until the dog was able to get in and out of the car without any drama. For some reason, even though she was a very big dog and could climb right into the car, she had this mental block about getting in the car. She would put her front two paws up on the back seat or the trunk area of the SUV, and then she would just kind of have a brain freeze. And she wouldn't be disobedient. It was like she just didn't really know what to do. At one point, her owners actually thought that perhaps she had some hip issues, or she had some shoulder issues that were causing her physical discomfort to get in the car. So they looked into that and realized, no, she's fine. And so they brought me on to kind of solve that problem, basically, for vet visits, general transportation, and that kind of thing. They needed to be able to have their dog get in the car without a wrestling match ensuing, because that's just not how you want to do things. So rather than when I first came up, I took the dog for a little walk and realized, okay, this dog has like no skills on the leash. I need to really help it there. And then we just kind of went over to the car so I could like observe what was going on, and I observed the same behavior that the owner described. They really had a mental block about getting into the car, even though they were physically able. So I had a conversation with the owner, and I suggested this path. I says, here's how I'd like to proceed. And fortunately, most of my clients have been referred to me by someone else who's had success. So they kind of trust me to use methods that aren't really traditional. A lot of times you're going to hire a dog trainer, and they'll come in with like their treat pouch and such, and their list of commands and their reward markers, and all that stuff is great, but a lot of times it's not going to really work with certain dogs. And a lot of times the clients that come to me have already gone that route and not had success. I tend to gravitate towards the headstrong, obnoxious dogs that are creating a lot of problems around the house, that haven't responded to traditional methods. And that's why they contact me, because I'm a very non-traditional dog trainer. So what we're doing in this training session is just getting this dog used to following me over obstacles. In this case, it's just a cement wall at a playground. And I'm just getting her used to following me through the obstacles. I'm using leash pressure, not a lot of sound. I'm using body language rewards and energy rewards. And I'm speaking the dog's language. And I'm not coddling, but I'm being very reassuring. See, she gave me a little kiss. She's having a grand old time here. And that's my point with the training session. I'm not going to come in and do battle with your dog. It's just not worth it. There'll be times when I need to exert some physical force on the dog to help them. But my general MO is to be like as cooperative as possible. And that's how I get the long-term lasting results. And not only do the results stick, but the process, the dog doesn't even know it's being trained. Like right now, as far as she's concerned, all we're doing is just hanging out, walking around, and for some reason we're just climbing over this wall a bunch. But in terms of like training, she's not feeling stressed. She's not feeling pushed. She's not feeling like causing her to go beyond her comfort zone. We're just hanging out enjoying the sunny day, and we happen to be walking over this wall a lot. And another thing I'm doing is I'm just using this long line to not let her go more than that away from me. I think this leash is about 8 or 9 feet, and I'm just keeping her in my 8 or 9 feet circle. So you can see she's focused on something. I give her a little tug on the leash and say, hey, come here, and she's right over here. And now same thing the other way. She's kind of looking around, and I'm just like, yo, come on, right on over the wall. And this kind of stuff is what I was doing to help her get used to going through the obstacle of going into the car without worrying about it. I'm working on her state of mind. So we did this for a while, and then we went for a nice long walk, and then I didn't really do anything with the car because I didn't want it to feel connected, like I was like pushing towards an agenda, or like I had this, I'm trying to trick her. All we did was this. I made it real fun, real enjoyable. We went for a nice walk after this, and then that was it. And then the next time I came back for the next session, we did a little of this, and then we went right to the car and transferred this into the car. So things worked out good with this dog, and I'll have a few more videos here showing some of the process that we went through. The main thing is to be a stable and consistent source of guidance and leadership for your dog that's non-reactive and non-dramatic. And when you're having an obstacle with your dog, the best way to help them get through it is to be very nonchalant about it, but yet very clear and direct. Like every time we walked over this wall, I did it with intent, and she picked up on that. Therefore, I didn't have to be harsh or demanding with her. She just understood, hey, he wants me to follow him, I'm going to follow him. The problem is for a lot of dog owners, because they're so used to seeing their dog behave one way, it's difficult for them to come with the level of confidence and organic expectation that can actually help their dog. And that's where I come in. So you see, we're just like walking it off now. She's happy. She's learning leash manners, and it was a great day. And I love this dog. So I hope that video was helpful, and I hope that you have a great, awesome day. Give your dog a hug.